show us your tips. Weekend preview time. Daggy and Beaver back to get stuck into two pretty good cards of racing from both Melbourne and Sydney. You've got the Group 1 Coolmore Classic in action this week at Rosehill. A weird day of race. I think it's VOBIS Day or something at Caulfield, but there's some winners to be had there. How are you, Beaver? After sticking fat with Jolie Star, finding plenty of winners along the way. Good weekend for you last week?
It was a good weekend, Daggy. Got off to a flyer early on. I think I had the first few in Caulfield, and I think hit it off. Started well in Sydney, and then picked the eyes out and through the rest of the day. But yeah, Jolie Star, back to its best there, and showed that it was a quality animal. Yeah, very good. Tom Kitten was good.
Yes.
I still think Another Will was probably
should have
won.
In that. Probably should have won.
I think it would have been right there in the finish. Not sure on the ride. That was a little bit disappointing there. Yeah, so not a bad day overall.
We've got and what have you made of these cards? We'll start at Rosehill. What have you made of these two cards in coming up this weekend?
Yeah, they're interesting cards. I think there's plenty of winners there. Some interesting races. Certainly, I think a lot of horses that are in the market, I think, hold the key as they normally do. But yeah, I think they're pretty good cards, and I think I'm pretty confident I've got a few winners there.
Rosehill should be a good track. It's warm weather from now on. They've had rain earlier in the week. Haven't seen irrigation today. I think it ends up being a good 3 with the rail in the true. I think should be okay to run on, but obviously you're always a little bit nervous if it's super dry at Rosehill. But I'm suggesting running line won't be too bad unless it gets super firm. We kick off with a 1,200 metre benchmark, 72 midway. And I may as well bounce the ball here, given I don't usually do that. One of those two horses of interest here, and you can back them both right now at reasonable prices. The first is the Extreme Cat, who is a horse I've taken on a little bit in the past, but I have a feeling maybe just good, clean ground is the key to it. Did some nice stuff in Midway's last prep, and the trials were very, very stylish this time in. It's about $7 or $8 at the moment. It's my starting point here, and I thought Tender Eyes was the other danger. It comes off 2 wins where it's just controlled the pace at Midway level. I think with the claim on should go forward. It's my only concern. Again, you're getting an each-way price. I'm going to cover both, and I think we can start the day reasonably well. A little scared of Salisano, but it's been a bit of a goner of late. What have you made of this one, Beaver?
Yeah, always a tricky way to start the day, these ones. But my starting point was the Extreme Cat as well. The work one last time in was pretty good, drawn well here, and I thought the trials were decent enough to suspect a forward showing. So at the price, I was willing to start the day very similar to you, mate.
Very good. Let's see where we're going in race 2, which is a benchmark 78, 1,900 metres. Plenty of chewed up stuff here. Where have you gone looking?
Yeah, on that basis that you're right, there is a fair bit of chewed up stuff here. I'm sticking with the lightly raced 2 from 2 Hurstville Zagreb. Okay. I think it's got the most potential, most upside here. Sat just off the pace last time and worked to the line nicely there. I think it'll be fitter, more race experience. I think it holds the key, and 52 kilos and $4. That's the way I'm playing.
I like perfect play here. I think I like the booking of Blake Shin on it. I think it's going to push forward and just tag Father's Day, who will lead, and that Melbourne form around the likes of Revelare emphasise. I think Kings Valley's come up here and won a race. Sets up really well, as much a jockey booking and map bet as anything, and I'm going to put it on top. No convictions for Hurstville as a grab, and that last win sitting outside lead was quite good. And then the horse of interest when I actually went and looked at the market was Lincoln Rocks. I don't think it should be 20 to 1. It kicked out at the gates and was vetted and allowed to run last time out. If you put a pen through that, that's some really good form. And just the fact that it is 20 to 1, I think it's just worth a little couple of bucks each way. And I elevated that based off price. But perfect play, I thought, was the most comfortable bet I could have here. More interesting race the more I got into that. We've got the 2 lead-ups to the Golden Slipper coming up next, the Pago and the Magic Knight. The boys go first in the Pago. It is a Group 3. It's not a very good race, I don't think. Neither of these races are much better than midweek grade, to be honest. given all that, I think West of Swindon looks the best horse. 2 obvious runs there. I think finally getting 1,200 metres suits. Chased Baywalk last time out, and I think pushes forward from the reasonable gate. It'll sit closer than what it usually does. Hawks tend to go forward when they draw a gate. Pretty easy to like, really. Skyhook's been okay. And the next best, I thought, was State Visit, who was a nice Canterbury win there. And I thought when I went back and looked at the trials, they looked pretty strong in hindsight. Might be the one over the odds in what should be a Warwick Farm race, I think. What have you made of this?
Yeah, kind of. You stole my thunder there. I've gone for West of Swindon as well. I didn't think the race was overly deep, and yeah, the form coming out of its 2 starts for 2 seconds, I thought was good enough here. The gate 4 is ideal, and chased a good one last start. So I had it on top, and I did have State Visit as my main danger. It could be over the odds. The only win was a good one. Probably not as a suitable track as this. My only concern was gate 12, where it would get to in running, and that might present a little bit of a problem. But certainly the horse I'd be chopping out on.
We've got the girls' edition as well, the Magic Night coming up next. This is an average race. Who's going to win it, though?
Yeah, another average race here where I wasn't overly keen. So I went looking for a little bit of value and come up with number 11, Gambas. Only had the 1 start, finished 3rd, was favourite there. I think it will have derived a lot of benefit from that. And gate 1 is ideal here, so it can posse up nicely here. $12 is good. And I think the main danger is the horse that beat it last start, Strata Verena. But a bit skinny at 280. With collet on it, but certainly the main danger.
I've got one at a price here in Autumn Blonde. I think both its runs in town have been good. I had to sit outside lead and chase first up, and then was caught wide and not really taken back and not really put into the race behind Within the Law. Ducked and weaved and hit the line quite well. It's $14. My concern is it's John Sargent, and I seem to tip a John Sargent horse every week and none of them win. So I want every bit of that $14. At the price, though, I'll put it on top. And then, yeah, that race you mentioned, the Canterbury race, probably is the right way to look. Strata Verena and Gambas in a race there. I don't think there's too many chasers. Look pretty obvious to me as next best. Speaking of no chasers, we've got the 2,000 metre, pardon me, Sky High Stakes up next. It is a Group 3, but honestly, any price over even money is a good price for Lindermann here. Nash is going to lead. It'll jog walk counter the 400 and be off and gone in a field of resuming stayers. This is an absolute one-act affair. I'd be shocked if it doesn't start at $1.60. Actually, I'd be concerned if it doesn't, and I'm sorry that I missed the $2.50 that was around yesterday. Can any of these horses catch this?
I didn't think so. I thought along the same lines as you. I just somewhat worry how honest Lindermann is, and that's my only concern here. And that one of these resumers jumps out the ground. But I thought the same as you. I thought it was going to be hard to beat. I thought the price was okay at the moment. You can still get $2.15, $2.20 if you're going to jump on.
Do you reckon it gets any better, or goes back out, or disappears?
No, I don't think you're going to get any better. I don't think it'd start at $1.60, but I think it's going to be evens, maybe slightly under.
Slightly on, yeah. Nothing else to add? Who does beat it if? No.
I'm keen to watch Warband and see how it resumes. Seems to have trialled okay. But yeah, look, more just watching some of the others.
The 6th is the Phar Lap Stakes here, which is for what are we doing here? It is a Group 2 for the girls. No, it's not. Just for the 3-year-olds, in fact. It's an interesting race. You get your mate Wonderboy coming up from Melbourne, but more importantly, who's going to win?
Yeah, look, interesting race as well for Group 2. Again, not a lot of depth here for a Group 2 race. I've stuck with Lazura from the Wallace stable. 3rd up here now, Cherry Ripe, and I think it gets its chance here from gate 2. Yeah, I thought it holds the key here. I couldn't really find too many dangers, to be honest. Wonderboy, I'm just not sure. It hasn't been winning in Melbourne and coming here. I think it's up against it. Waller's got the favourite with McDonald. Obviously, you'd have to respect it, but Lazura for me.
Yeah, I thought it just looked super obvious. It's been on the heels of Lady Shenandoah and Lady of Camelot last 2 starts. And that was a good run last time out. It did have the best barrier, but it did exactly what you wanted to do. I think it has to go close to winning this. I thought the 2 Kiwi fillies kicking off for Waller were interesting. Real Class looks a nice, big, strong girl. It's coming off a group win over there, and last trial was quite good. And at $10 maybe is the danger, and I guess we'll watch Moving Out as well. But it's needed a few trials to get going, so more of a bullet watch and learn. But Real Class might almost be a bet if there is a bit of money around for it tomorrow afternoon. Quaddy kicks off with the 1100 metre Maurice McCarten Stakes at Group 3 level. And Pisanello didn't put a foot wrong last prep. Zach Lloyd sticks with it. The trials were just as good as you'd want to see, and the Godolphin stable looks like it's just steadied the ship and starting to put a few winners out now. So happy with it in a race of very well-exposed horses, all bar Perspiration, who was saved from last week. Is still no trial. Still no idea what it's going to bring to the table, but I'll make it the danger because at one stage I thought it was a talented horse. Just sort of sick of the rest of these, Beaver. Anything caught your eye, though?
Yeah, I think you're right. Again, another really good summation there. Pisanello has the form last prep, 3 from 3, looks to be up on an upward spiral, and seems to be the horse to beat here. I've got it on top. Well drawn, 53 kilos, the blue colours, which bounced back last week nicely. On top for me, and you're right, Perspiration may be the one to watch.
The feature is the Group 1 Coolmore Classic for the girls, fillies and mares, over 1,500 metres. And we get a very interesting clash of some of the older horses against seeing where these fillies line up. Who are you putting on top?
Matt, great race. Really excited about this one. I'm going for Amelia's Jewel. Love the resumption there. Jumped, put everything else out of play, and won as it wished there. I think it's going to be much fitter here. I think it gets the right draw compared to some of the main dangers who are drawn out a bit wide. So they've, Lady of Camelot and Shenandoah are going to have to burn a little bit early if Amelia's Jewel can posse up and maybe hold one or two of those wide. Certainly going to play into its favour. So really like it. Got it on top. Keen to see how Marble Arch. I thought $15 for it coming to Sydney. It's flying at the moment. Going well, and never runs a bad race. It's going to be hard to beat. But, the two others in the market, Lady Shenandoah is flying, looks to be a really, really good horse, and maybe just something special. But, can't rule it out. 230, I just think it's a little bit skinny in this race, drawn off the track. And Lady of Camelot was good last start. It was coming back, I think, and holding its ground on the line last start. So interesting affair, but that's sort of the way I'm going.
I've gone with Lady Shenandoah. I don't feel great about it, but she's just done nothing wrong. J-Mac is on in a Group 1, so he's always going to run well. He's too short, I think, for me. But on top, I'm going to make the main danger Curvalant, who gets the similar under what it got last time out, where it brained them with Blake Shin down at Caulfield. But the best of it is good enough for this. It's always a scary race, this race, because over the years you get those Rod Quinton mares jump up at 20-1 in this race, and things flashing down the outside and knocking off favourites. So I'm a little bit nervous. I think Amelia's Jewel's come back well and can bounce, as you've said. So if we get I'd probably want $3 Lady Shenandoah, and I'd bet comfortably. Otherwise, at the current price, I think Curvalant and maybe even Marble Arch is that sort of horse that can knock these off on the right day. The 9th is the lead up to the Doncaster, the Ajax Stakes, another Group 2, 1,500 metres as well. And I got a bit blinded here by the EIPH next to Pericles, pulled up with cardiac arrhythmia first up, coming out of the Tom Kitten race. It's unbeaten second up. I think if it's not unbeaten, it's never missed a place. Never missed the Quinella second up. It is just there. It'll bounce back. J-Max jumped on. Actually thought I'd get a better price than $5.50, but I'm going to put it on top from Ducasse, who has come back with a great win. This is a step up to catch Pericles, but is in good order. Next best, West of Africa, who was given absolutely no hope last time out, and maybe given similar here, but can improve off that. best value of the day, I thought Pericles, because at its best it would walk this race in. But who have you come up with?
Yeah, good. It is got to carry the 59 kilos here, and I found this is an interesting race. My first thoughts went to Ducasse. I really like the resumption there. It's a horse I've always had a little bit of an opinion of, and Gate 1, again, was right up my alley here. I think it can posse up and get the right spot here at Rosehill. But I thought I'd just go a little bit of value. I'm going Freedom Rally, third up here. The Gate 14 was a little bit of a concern, but it will get back. But if I look at its form, it's 2 runs in this time in. We've both been behind Another Wheel and Brightside. Last one being two lengths behind Brightside with 59, drops back to 56.5 here. Trialled okay. Group 1's into this against that quality. For me, that's worth a play around the $12 mark. I think I'll have it and save on Ducasse and chop out there.
I've just had a thought, actually. First up last prep, Williamsburg smashed Estadio Mistella coming off the gelding here. It's 50-1. I might throw that into my quaddy when I get there. But I'll move on from that. The last is a 1400 benchmark 88. How are we finishing the day here?
Yeah, pretty keen on Harlem Queen here, resuming. Gets the services of McDonald. Obviously, this is a bit short of its most ideal distance, but ran 3 lengths behind Treasure of the Moment in the Oaks, but has won first up previously. This is a classy filly that's...
nice, big, strong-looking girl, isn't she?
Yeah, only lightly raced, and I thought the last trial was pretty good as well. Finished off nicely behind Private Harry. Pretty keen at the $3.60 mark that this can run well in what looks to be a field of, I think, a second-rate field. So I've got it clear on top for me.
I've put Les Vampires on top. I thought if you go back and watch its first up run at the 1100 metres, it was actually coming back on the other 2 that went past it as it hit the line. I think 1400 metre tempo with control sets up much better, and it'll improve. So I'm putting it on top from Harlem Queen. For all the reasons you've said, looking forward to seeing it. And J-Mac doesn't just jump on nobodies in races like this. State of America over the odds, but probably wants a run, is the other horse I'll mention there. So, speaking of quaddies, I might just shuffle the deck chairs here in this one a bit with your thoughts now. First leg, we're going to go in 2 Insurrection, 4 Eagle Nest, 7 Pisanello, 9, not 9 at all, 11 Perspiration. I might have thrown Felix Majestic in off that big trial win. Second leg, 1 Amelia's Jewel, 4 Lady Chandel, 5 Marble Arch, 6 Lady of Camelot, 7 Cœur Volant. Third leg, 1 Pericles, 4 Freedom Rally, 11 Ducasse, 14 West of Africa. And we'll come home with 4 Rhapsody Chic, 5 State of America, and the 2 we mentioned, 9 Harlem Queen, and 12 Les Vampires. My best is Lindermann, race 5, number 1, and at the moment, Pericles, race 9, number 1, will be my value on the card. What have you done here?
Yep, my best bet is race 10, number 9, Harlem Queen. I think it'll be winning, and my value bet is race 8, number 1, Amelia's Jewel.
Lovely. Check out showusyourtips.net. You can get all our thoughts in written copy there as well if you want to check in throughout the afternoon. Remind yourself of our dribble. You can also hear this on Spotify. If you don't want to look at our heads and want to just listen in the car like Ryan and a few others do, you can check out our thoughts that way on the way home from work or wherever you might be heading on a Saturday morning. Caulfield's in play tomorrow, and the rail goes out. Where is it? I think it's 3 metres here. 6 metres tomorrow. It's a hot day. I suggest it means the best lanes will probably be sort of 2 to 4 metres off, and you probably won't be too far from the lead there. The first is a 2,400 metre handicap. We've lost Revelawe, and I have nothing to talk about as a result. So is anyone going to win this race, or will they all just try and go backwards at some point?
Well, something will win. What I'm not so sure about, to be honest. I'm going to stick with mostly Cloudy, just because I think it's raced in better company these and has done enough in some of those in the past.
Yeah, we'll move on quickly from that. 1400 metre girls race is up next. An interesting race, actually. One of the better races on the card, despite the smallish field. Who have you found, though?
Yeah, interesting race with a few in the market here. It was, again, another tricky affair. I've settled on Brazen Lady. It's been doing and running well enough. It was only a couple of lengths behind Is It Me, that sort of has taken care of its opponents pretty easily in recent starts. Is always thereabouts, and has gone all right at this track before. So we had it on top, but any of the top 3 or 4 can win. Maybe the main danger, Paradise City.
I'm going with the Resumer on top, Regal Vow. I thought it did some good things last prep. The trial was good. It actually beat Marble Arch, who we mentioned in the Coolmore before it went out of a little bit, obviously over a little bit further. But the fact it's kicking off at 1400 metres, I think there's a bit of intent here. I'll put it on top from Paradise City, who will take the lead and is the up-and-going fit horse that they have to get past. Brazen Lady, no knock on it. We've got the 1100 metre version up next. Rematch from a couple of weeks ago for a few of these. And I'm going to stick with the result out of that, just in the fact that Samangu gets just every possible advantage. There's no other pressure on it on pace. It'll get its own way in front, jog around for about 700 metres and just take off at the bend. So I think it gets the same setup and same result as before from Miss Aria, who has to chase. Otherwise, obviously, both of us are fans of the horse. I just think it just has the job to get there once more. And the fact it stays at 1100 metres once again probably doesn't appeal to me that much, really. I wouldn't mind seeing it get out to 14 where it can balance up and hit the line a little bit better. But that's why I'm gone. Not many other chances that I considered, to be honest. What have you done?
Yeah, I've just flipped them. I'm going Miss Aria. Third up now, a little bit fitter. Again, super worried about Samangu, but I'm hoping She Dances or something like that. Maybe may put a bit more pace into the race, and Miss Aria can sit behind him, be close enough, and run over the top of him.
The fourth is a benchmark 74, 1200 metres. Who have you come up with?
Yeah, interesting race here. I've come up with the import number 2, Tatsumaki, from the Hay stable.
What an odd horse to turn up here 4 years off racing. And
yeah, is a bit of an odd horse, but trials have been good.
Incredible
trials,
really good trials.
Won them all. Turns up here. Interesting race up against some lightly raced horses. I've got it on top. Bit sight unseen in a race, but that's my pick.
I was very tempted by the trials as well, and very interested to see how it runs. I've gone with Documentary on top. I think its 2 wins have been very impressive. Gets a cosy draw here, and the trial since was very nice as well. Mark Zara has a good book for the day, so he's on top from. I ended up coming around to Pure Alpha a little bit. First up, sent down south to kick off. The trial again was good, fresh here, and I had no idea what to do with Tatsumaki, so I have put it in for third, and I'm quite scared of it, but it'll be quite the effort to get this horse to win first up after half a decade off. The fifth is the mile Platinum Guineas. When you break it down, it's essentially a benchmark 68-ish, which left me with the second starter here on top, Bit of Shush. I thought it was a very, very impressive debut win. I know it was only at Kyneton, but it just rounded them up, ran away and owned them. Trials either side were very good, and if this was just a standard Wednesday benchmark 70, it would be even money going to a race like this. So I'm going to put it on top. From Zorro's Flight, who I don't know what that race was last time out, but the form before it was good enough to be in the finish here. Next best, the filly Perfect Picture, who has Treasure of the Moment form, which has to be okay for this sort of race. What have you come up with, Beaver?
Yeah, I've gone for Bit of Shush as well. Like the only start, that was a really good win there. Comes from the stable I just like at the moment. That was pretty impressive first up win. Beaten by 5 comfortably after a couple of nice trials. Might have a little bit of a class edge on these, I think. So clear on top for me.
Lovely. The Peter Young Stakes is up next. 1800 metres, a Group 2. And the biggest talking point probably in Australia comes up in this race, and that's Pride of Jenni's out of retirement and back to the races. To me, she's the only horse you could entertain backing. If it wasn't for the fact the wheels completely fell off the back end of last prep, she'd be $1.10 here because she gets everything in her favour. Trial was fine, but that said, is there any interest?
Yeah, I think you're right. If you were going to have a bet, I think it's the only horse you can bet. I'm interested purely because 250 first up has never been probably its go either, which is a little bit of a concern. But this is this is the weakest field it's faced before. There's only 6 horses in it, and some of these don't appear to be too much of a danger. So the only chance is if Zardezi just gets to sit and is just a bit fitter and a bit more ready to go. But Pride of Jenni for me, I think it might put a space in these.
Yeah, I agree. It's the only horse you can back, and I think it's 260 now, around that price. It's probably worth a gamble because it gets it the only way and wins. You're not going to see this price again. I assume they're going to nurse it through this prep. So around this price, probably a bet, but ultimately at this stage, I'm just leaning towards trying to edge myself off the fence. The quaddie kicks off with the Gold Dash 1,200 metre race here. What have you come up with?
Yeah, interesting race. I came back to 2, and I've just gone for Winner's Edge.
Yep.
Got it on top here. Really liked the way it sort of sat midfield and finished off, or probably more a bit towards the back last start. I think the extra distance here suits. It's third up. Got the right jockey. Got the right lane here, and I think it's the hardest to beat. She's got pizzazz as a horse I do like. I did tip it first up. I was a little bit disappointed, but I wouldn't be surprised if it jumped out the ground and ran a really nice race here. But Winner's Edge to me.
I've gone the same way. I think it's the 1,200 metre horse in the race. As you said, right jockey, and should get the right run here. Should get clear air and fight out the finish. I thought the 2 classier girls, she's got pizzazz and Matisse, might be wanting 1,400 metres. So on top for me. Not much more to add. Stormberg, best roughie. I think it's a 50 to 1 is the best outsider you'll get probably all day. The other horse I'll mention there. The 2-year-olds are up next. Again, 1,200 metres in the Platinum Showdown. And a couple of lightly raced horses I've gone looking for here. I've put Killarney on top, or Kiliana on top, who sat on pace last time out and just was very stylish running away from there. Times are okay and gets the same setup again from McGaw, who was ultra impressive. The problem's going to be it's going to have to catch the leader. Only 2 hopes for me. 13 from 5. The rest of the race stuff didn't. Nothing really grabbed my eye. Maybe Rohesia next best from the Hayes stable. Beaver, you?
Spot on, mate. I think you've summed it up perfectly there. I've gone for Kiliana as well. Loved the first up win. Kind of went away from him there. I'm pretty keen he can run well. I think the barrier 5 over McGaw is the only danger. Gate 13 is a huge advantage, and clear on top for me, only danger.
Beautiful. The Gold Sprint is next. We stay at 1,200 metres for the open class horses, I guess. Who have you come up with?
Yeah, it wasn't a race that I got overly excited in, but no. I've come up with Bossy Nick. I thought its 2 runs last time in were both really good for a race like this, in decent company. Gets the right draw here in gate 2. So I thought it could be there or thereabouts. I had it on top. I think Regal Zeus can run a nice race as well. That was a good resumption and is a good front-running horse. If it gets control and gets it too easy, it is going to be extremely hard to get past.
Bossy Nick from Regal Zeus for me as well. Hedged third. That's, you've summed that up well. So we'll move on to the last where, to be honest, I hope we're in front by the time we get to these last couple of races. 1,600 metre benchmark 80 takes us home, and I'm putting Mix It on top, unbeaten for EJ. He just keeps producing these lightly raced horses, and they get the job done when they come to town. So I'm going to put it on top. Gates, the bit of a concern. We'll see how the track's playing come the last. It's on top from Miss Artie, Main Danger, and Charities, who fought out the finish with Miss Artie last time out and is currently $35. I would have thought that makes it a bet in this race. It'll be my best result, but it won't be a big betting race by any means, I suggest, unless it's been a fat day to this point. Who do you like?
Yeah, I think that's right. Be taking this quite carefully. I'm going for number 7, Electric Belle. Finally broke through after a lot of consistent runs prior to that. Got the right jock on board here, and that was a good win last start around the $10 mark. I think it's going to be hard to beat. Can't knock both Miss Artie, who's going well. Seems to be a real honest and trier. I think it's well in the market. Mix It seems to be the horse with the question mark here. How good is it? And it's got to deal with gate 16, which with 58.5, that presents a slight challenge to me. So I was a bit concerned about that.
Cool. Do you want to give us your quaddie?
Do I want to give you a quaddie? Of course I do.
Lovely.
So my first leg, I am going number 3. She's got Pizzazz. Number 4, Winner's Edge. And number 10, Peridot Star. In the second leg, I'm going number 5, McGraw, and number 13, Kiliana. When we get to the next leg, going to play it a little bit wider here. I'm going to go number 1, Ashford Street. Number 3, Nicolini Vito. Number 4, Regal Zeus. Number 10, Bossy Nick, and number 11, Molly Knickers. And then to finish off in the last, I'm going number 2, Mix It, number 6, Miss Artie, number 7, Electric Belle, and number, way down the bottom, 18, Glen Finian.
Beautiful. My best. I'm going to make it race 3, number 5, Samangu. I think gets the right map there. And my value is, I didn't have it on top, but I thought Pure Alpha around $10 might be each way bet here at race 4, number 5. Who do you like?
Yep, my best bet is I am going to go race 6, number 5, Pride of Jenni.
Okay, nice.
Gonna go all out there. I don't think there's many chances in if it's 80% near its best, it beats those. And my value bet comes up in the last race 10, number 7, Electric Belle.
Excellent, Beaver. What's happening in Queensland?
It wasn't a day that I was overly excited about in Queensland. Quite open fields and hard to find the winners, but let's have a crack anyway. Race 5, number 1, Brereton, around the $7 mark. I think that's a nice little bet. Second up there. Then we go later in the day, race 8, number 2, Deep Focus, can run really well. And then to finish off in the 10th race, number 17, Sergio.
Beautiful. Excellent, Beaver. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you, Daggy.
Good luck, punters. We'll do it again next week as we steam towards the Golden Slipper and the championships in the next in the next month or so. Take care, guys. See ya.